Hello and welcome to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel reaction to Celtic's amazing 6-0 win against Aberdeen yesterday at Celtic Park. Doing a live stream today as best way to respond to such a brilliant win, and also allows easier access for any chat or comments, etc. And so, without any further ado, please do, if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the channel. Would so much cheer me up on a miserable, wet, rainy day in Scotland today. Also, like and also would love to see any kind of comments regarding Celtic in general, regarding yesterday's match, or any of the controversies and issues surrounding yesterday's result and recent Celtic history. So, as I said, thoroughly wonderful victory yesterday, and as I say in the title for this live stream, it looks like Brendan Rodgers has been watching the David67 YouTube channel, because pretty much everything I said Rodgers should try and do, what formations, which players, the tactics, the way to use some of the players, came true yesterday's game. I was very much in favour of Yang starting in place of Maeda on the right, Oh and Holm getting his chance in midfield. Very much was advocating for Yang and Luis Palma to cut into the box as much as possible, playing as inside forwards, getting in to support the attackers and midfielders, being there at the back post, very similar to Jota in the last couple of years, or going back a wee bit further, the way that Scott Sinclair was so able to get in at the back post to score under Rodgers the first time around. At the start of the season, our wide players were pretty much staying on the wing, trying to get to the byline, cross back across into the goal. Not particularly good tactic, with Kyogo being our main striker, not being the best in the air. And so much better idea for our wide player to get into the box when the ball is on the other side of the pitch. And that worked perfectly for their first goal. An absolutely exquisite curving cross by Luis Palma from the byline. Took out the goalkeeper, took out the defenders, and a very, very calm, well-placed header by Yang, scoring his first goal for Celtic. Later on in the half, again, an exquisite ball by Yang into the box. Brilliant run by Matt O'Reilly. Wonderful cross back, and then Kyogo, very, very assured finish from the 6-yard box past Roos in the Aberdeen goals. Celtic were massively on top the whole of the first half. I was very, very impressed also with the fact that the starting position for Johnston, Taylor, Carter-Vickers and Scales was on the halfway line and even into the Aberdeen half. It penned Aberdeen in for the whole first 45 minutes. Scarcely Aberdeen able to get out of their own half. Constant pressure, wonderful harassing, pressurising play by the front three, by the midfield three, and also anything that got past that first six, Carter-Vickers, Scales, etc., mopped up. Some very good passing between the back four, linking up with McGregor, O'Reilly and Holm. I would like to give special consideration for Oh and Holm. I thought he played very, very well. He showed the ability to get back and support O'Reilly and McGregor, got forward, a couple of very good shots on goal, some lovely passes, interceptions, pressurised the Aberdeen players into mistakes and poor passes. He was up and down the pitch, And I could not understand why after 52 minutes, at the same time as Kyogo was taken off with his head injury, why Holm was taken off and Turnbull brought on. Turnbull gave his usual sort of performance, scored a lovely goal, which turned out to be Celtic's fourth goal that afternoon. However, scarcely ever tackles, scarcely ever intercepts, scarcely ever pressurises the opposition, scarcely ever presents himself for a 1-2 with O'Reilly, McGregor, Palma, Yang, Forrest, Kyogo, etc. Scarcely ever does anything in terms of for the team. Scored a lovely goal, and that's 3 games in a row he's scored a goal. I would argue that that's all well and good against poorer quality teams. I think had that been Celtic against Rangers, for example, we would have been playing in effect with 10 men, just hoping that the ball breaks to Turnbull on the edge of the box, and this time he gets his shot right. He wasted 2 very good chances prior to his goal. Rather poor shots, poor control, poor vision, as on one of the occasions, one of his teammates was in a far better position to score. I think Turnbull, perfectly good player to come off the bench. I don't think he deserves ever to start for Celtic until he signs a 3-4 year contract and commits his future to Celtic, and also knuckles down in training to be more of a team player, passing, intercepting, and helping out teammates. You never see Turnbull getting back to support Johnston or Greg Taylor in the fullback position, which Maeda is very, very good at doing. McGregor, obviously, Hatate, all very good at getting back, and Thiago Holm was getting back to support and cover for Taylor and for Johnston when they did venture that bit further forward. I think Thiago Holm is an all-around good midfielder who's going to get better and better and stronger as he gets older. I do notice that Rodgers is suggesting strength and conditioning training for Holm, and I think it's a perfectly good option for a man of 20. He could well bulk up a wee bit more, similar to the way that O'Reilly and Hatate and McGregor are, and be a wee bit more combative and stronger in the tackle and the challenge. However, I think with Holm, we've got a gem for the future. Speaking of gems, I thought absolutely wonderful performance by Yang, showing everybody what many Celtic fans have been saying, that he's a very talented player, very good with the ball at his feet, very intelligent, very creative, and very good that at last Rodgers gave him the rein to play the way he does the best, down the wing with pace, intelligence, cutting into the box, supporting Kyogo, supporting Palma, etc. And I think it's the start of a brilliant Celtic career. You don't get voted the best young player in South Korean football without being a good player. And I think Rodgers, the coaching staff, and the Celtic fans have seen just how good he is based on yesterday's performance, but also the last couple of games in which he has had a starting and substitute role. Obviously, other star of the day, Luis Palma, 1 goal and 3 assists. Absolutely wonderful cross for O's first goal, which was our 5th, and wonderful cross for the very first goal for Yang. Constantly dangerous getting down the left side, able to get to the byline, actually got quite a lot of pace over a short distance, very, very intelligent, wonderful ability to shoot for goal from outside the box. A couple of times he nearly scored from distance. I've been advocating for many weeks that the very obvious player Celtic should be using for direct free kicks on goal and for penalty kicks is Luis Palma, as I may have mentioned a few times in videos and comments on Celtic fan sites. Luis Palma has a 100% record as a penalty taker in professional football. Also is the designated penalty taker and direct free kick taker for the Honduran national side. And his extremely assured penalty to put us 3-0 up very much shows his very high quality with the dead ball and his calm accuracy with shooting. Welcome to my viewer. I'm doing fine today. Bit of a dreary, wet day here, but very, very happy at Celtic's victory, and lovely to have a live viewer for the live stream. Just getting towards the end of my review of the day, but as a recap, I thought excellent performances from Luis Palma and Yang, very good performances from Oh and Holm, very, very encouraging couple of goals for Oh. His finish for the 6th goal, very, very calm, very, very reassured. Absolutely no doubt he was going to score when you saw him getting through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and brilliant positioning and skill to meet Palma's brilliant cross for the 5th goal. And again, I think has silenced all the doubters in amongst the Celtic fans, and I think he has reassured Brendan Rodgers that as and when required, he's going to be a very good deputy for Kyogo. Very much agree, Belly. Very, very reassuring. Very good news for the future. Excellent results. After all, going into the season, most people would have been expecting Aberdeen to be 3rd place. I know they have struggled this year. I think that's quite common with teams playing in Europe. Also, to an extent, the way that Barry Robson got them playing in the second half of last season, quite a lot of teams have adapted to that. However, I think Aberdeen are always a team that can give anybody a good game, and hopefully after the international break, they can give our big rivals from the other side of the city a bloody nose and take a point or more off them, unless the amazing penalty kick fairy keeps on giving for Rangers, as it seems to do on 1 or 2 penalties every single game that Rangers play these days. All around, I thought Celtic played really well. Back four didn't have much to do, but what they did, defended very well, snuffed at Aberdeen. Joe Hart had one save to make actually a really pretty good save actually from Miovski, who deflected the cross, and Hart, lovely diving stop. Hart, as always, restarts the game very well, and I think all around, probably Celtic's best performance of the season. Bruce, despite the fact that it was a 6-0 loss for Aberdeen, could well have saved 4 or 5 goals, quite similar to the game against Ross County, where their goalkeeper saved 4 or 5 very excellent shots. Celtic clipped the bar, clipped the post, had tons and tons of possession. A couple of wee bits of news, obviously. Kyogo going off with his head injury. When I first saw the incident, I really much feared for the worst. Looked like both Kyogo and the Aberdeen defender Rubicic were knocked out in case of Kyogo, and actually quite badly stunned in terms of the Aberdeen player. Very difficult to know. I don't think there was actually malicious intent from the Aberdeen player. However, it was reckless, it was dangerous, And it does seem rather ridiculous. He gets a yellow card for knocking out his opponent, whilst Maeda clips Hermoso's shin, possibly trying to block the ball and protect himself. And it's a red card for Maeda for a reckless, violent challenge. And then Rubezic knocks out Kyogo with, certainly, I don't think it was malicious, but it was certainly very reckless, very dangerous, and could have had tragic circumstances and tragic outcome. Happily, it appears that Kyogo has suffered just some concussion. He's been withdrawn from the Japanese squad for this international break, so obviously all three of our Japanese internationals are all out currently injured. Would appear that Hatate is going to be out till the early new year. Maeda is expected back just after Christmas, thought to be in line for the game against Rangers just before Hogmanay. Kyogo, I think, will be fully back into Celtic's team for our first fixture after the international break against Motherwell. Don't think there'll be any lasting injuries for Kyogo. Other player injured in the game yesterday was Yang, who suffered a cut below his eye. I think 2 or 3 days, and he'll be as right as rain. And both of them can then get back into training during the international break and mixing in with the squad players still at Celtic. Yep. It should really have been a red card. I was surprised that John Beaton, the VAR referee, didn't upgrade it to a red. If anybody also watches rugby, you'll know that in rugby they've instituted this, where the referee on the pitch often gives a yellow card, and then the TV official then upgrades it very often to a red card. I think actually in this circumstance, it would have been fully justified for John Beaton to tell Colin to upgrade that to a red card. Other controversy with the VAR is quite why Willie Collin didn't think that first one, the challenge on Mackenzie on Oh in the box, was a penalty. It looked a pretty clear penalty live at normal pace. When you see it on replay, I think there was only one decision. Oh got to the ball first, turned to make a shot, taken out by the Aberdeen defender, which is why Oh's shot didn't go anywhere near the goal. And as I said, as I've been advocating for several weeks, up steps Palma and a beautiful, well-hit penalty right into the corner, completely unsavable. And I hope that's the first of many that Luis Palma scores for Celtic from the spot and from direct free kicks. However, 6-0 win, back to the top of the table, 8 points clear of our biggest rivals. I think that it would have been quite easy for Celtic, having had the massive disappointment of the rather embarrassing 6-0 thrashing against Atletico last Tuesday, and then our big rivals having a comfortable win in the end against Livingston on the plastic pitch. Again, as I said, the VAR officials and the referee giving them a really pretty dodgy penalty in the first half. Can't see how that ever was upheld by VAR. And then second half, second penalty. No wonder Tavernier scores so many goals when he gets so many chances every game to score from the spot. If he misses the first, you're almost guaranteed that Tavernier will get a second later in the game. However, we're not chatting about other teams. We can chat about our players, and I thought this was Celtic's best performance. I thought Rodgers got the tactics and the makeup spot on. Other than taking off Holm to bring on Turnbull after 52 minutes, I thought everything Rodgers did yesterday was spot on. every player played very well, and it is so encouraging to show that Celtic actually have quite a good, really quite a good depth of players, and that now that the summer signings are getting into the swing of things within the team and the training, I think they are going to go from strength to strength. And so, really, the only one player we're still waiting to have his Celtic chance is going to be Marco Tilio. Quite why he hasn't seen the first team action, I'm not very certain. But I think with one or two injuries cropping up, I have to think he's going to be on the bench in the very near future. He has played a couple of friendly matches. The feedback from those was he actually played very well, but the story is he seems to be struggling to fit in with Scottish football. Yep, fully agree, Belly. I think the game against our big rivals just before Hogmanay is going to be a massive fixture. We're clearly going to have the massive advantage of hopefully an absolute sellout Celtic crowd. Massive advantage in terms of fan numbers, fan noise, and I really do hope that all the kerfuffle and problems behind the scenes at Celtic between the board and one of the fan groups all settles down. My personal opinion, having supported Celtic now for 51, 52 years, is I'm a great believer in supporting the club through thick and thin, through good days and not so good days, and supporting the team primarily, supporting the players, supporting the manager, and doing absolutely everything I can to support them as loudly and as fervently as I can. Um, and for that reason, I was very disappointed in seeing the young guys invading the pitch. Had that been a Champions League match, you could very much see UEFA shutting down Celtic Park. Similarly, for me, the really sort of bad-mannered, disappointing non-acknowledgement of the minute silence. I know there are political issues, but the minute silence is for all people in all wars all over the world who've been killed and injured in wars. And so it's a remembrance of all soldiers and all victims, civilians of all wars. And so I do find it very disappointing that the minute silence was ruined. It also brings, again, the press down on our club, which is never good. Again, had it been a UEFA match, again, you can see UEFA fining Celtic and with the history of several fines, even thinking about shutting down the ground. I remember on a couple of occasions Celtic playing such as against Atletico Madrid in a second leg to an empty stadium. From the first leg in Madrid, we were at 1-1. Had every chance of going through an aggregate, and yet we played to a stadium of a few officials, a few journalists, and we went out because the ground was completely empty of fans and no atmosphere. I think the thing to do always is cheer and scream and shout and support Celtic to the end of the earth. And I fully agree on in the match against Rangers just after Christmas. I think if the whole crowd is behind us and if the current form keeps on going, which I fully see it doing, and I think also players such as Palma, Holm, Yang are going to get stronger and stronger, and we also can be rest assured that Oh, coming off the bench, can prove a very major goal threat as well for the club. It would be a very great way to go into 2024 if we could extend that lead to 11 points. And I think I can very much see that as an occurrence. One other wee thing just to mention in conjunction with what I've been saying earlier on. As I'm sure you're all aware, early in 2024, there's going to be the Asian Cup that runs for about 6 weeks. And so if any of our Japanese players are called up for that, all our South Korean players are called up for that, or even Marco Tilio, although he's Australian, Australia gets to play in the Asian Cup because of FIFA rules and designations. So we could actually be missing quite a number of our star players for what will turn out to be 5 or 6 matches. Even with the winter break, it still will turn into about 5 or 6 matches. If Japan and South Korea got to the final, let's say, we could be without our 3 star Japanese and our 2 star South Koreans. And I think if Yang keeps on playing the way he has the last couple of games, and if Oh again also plays as well as he has the last couple of games, I can't see any possibility that Jurgen Klinsmann is not going to call those 2 up for the Asian Cup. So I think that's why it's also important over the next month or so that Celtic can do everything they can to get all their players currently out injured back to full fitness, such as Mavroki, Abada, and Kyogo, and also do look to maybe get Marco Tilio playing some game time in the first team, most likely as a sub to start with, and also maybe looking at a couple of our best B team players such as Rocco Vata and Mackenzie Carse, both of whom have had a really good season for the B team. And I think both of them could well expect some squad game time over the next month or so and the early part of 2024. I think for Celtic's future, bringing in some young players from the B team is very important. Helps with the UEFA quotas for squads, etc. And it also should be remembered for when we do play Lazio, there is the option of Rocco Vata, who, although he wasn't in the original 25-man squad, because of the rules, he is actually allowed to be co-opted into Celtic squad, as would the other B team players. And so it wouldn't be too unexpected. Wouldn't be too unexpected if Rocco Vata and Mackenzie Carse do see some game time in the near future. Good point, Belly. I would also say that in the January transfer window, I think Celtic should go hell for leather and get a new starting goalkeeper. It's very encouraging that although Joe Hart's contract is due up in May 2024, it does look like he and his agent are actively discussing with Celtic an extension to his contract. And he also seems very happy, he says, to be a backup number 2 goalkeeper and have a bit of a mentoring role for his successor. The obvious players to come in would be Kevin Kelleher from Liverpool, currently their number 2, and he is said to be very keen to start being a number 1 keeper at a club. His options for moving to another English Premier League side, I think, as number 1 would be fairly limited. However, I think coming to Celtic, he could turn out to be a Celtic superstar of the future. I think, given Kelleher's background, etc., that coming to Celtic would be something he would consider, which is not so common for players coming from the English Premier League, coming from big teams there. Andre Lunin appears also resigned to leaving Real Madrid when his contract is up in May-June 2024. His wife was talking in the press. She also seems resigned to leaving Spain, or certainly leaving Real Madrid. Previously, Lunin had mentioned in some press interviews that he was looking to move to one of the big leagues, which probably was in that case rules out Celtic. And it's thought that there are a couple of the top sort of middle range Spanish teams who are very, very keen to sign Lunin to be their number one for next season. And so I think Celtic may lose out on the Lunin signing. Kelleher remains an option. The other goalkeeper I do wonder about maybe being a very good option for Celtic would be Angus Gunn, the current Scotland international goalkeeper, who plays for Norwich. Norwich seem to be destined to stay in the English Championship, and so I do wonder whether the offer of coming to Celtic to have regular first-team football, be the acknowledged number one, also obviously European football every year, and a very high chance every year of winning one or two medals and cups and titles, etc. I think Gunn's at a stage in his career where all those things would prove very, very worthwhile. And so I would not be too surprised if Celtic look at Angus Gunn as being an option if the Kelleher option falls through. Other position I think Celtic very much need to strengthen in the January window, especially when you're thinking about the possibility of Kyogo and O both being away for the duration of the Asian Cup. You do wonder about Celtic signing another striker. There was mention of Sidney van Hooijdonk from Bologna, the son of an ex-Celtic player, Pierre van Hooijdonk. Other player, Matthias Kiesgarden of Brøndby. He also is a very good option. And for those who are interested, there are a few videos and discussions about those two players earlier in the in my videos. I'll be back in 1 second. Just need to go to the door. Apologies for that. I tried to time the live stream for a time where there weren't any Amazon deliveries scheduled, but unfortunately the chap came a bit early. So, as I was saying, I think very much a position Celtic have to sign an additional player for is a striker. Kiesgarden and Van Hooijdonk for me are both very good options. There has been talk about Celtic instead going for Lawrence Shankland. Excuse me, Lawrence Shankland. Although I don't think he's a Celtic player. Miovski of Aberdeen's also been put forward. And again, I don't see him as being a Celtic option. Kiesgarden and Van Hooijdonk are both up-and-coming young strikers. Both of them have proven themselves in Danish football and Dutch football, and so I think they both would be good options for Celtic. Well within Celtic's price range. Also, both players likely to be willing to come to Celtic. So, I think we can just about finish things off for this afternoon. Apologies for getting a wee bit of a cough there with the running up and down the stairs. It's been lovely doing another live stream. Lovely having some audience participation. So thanks to Belly for all your wonderful comments there. It's lovely having some interaction and some things to respond to. For all those watching later on, again, do feel free to pop in your comments and opinions. Very happy always to answer, debate, discuss anything, either through the comments section or in later videos. With the international break starting as of now, there's likely going to be a bit less Celtic news, etc., to update on, and so it could well be a perfect opportunity to have a few discussions, videos, and also reflecting on anything else the subscribers and viewers raise. Yep. Thanks very much, Belly. I will take it easy. With just a wee bit of a reflex automatic cough or tightening just going up and down the stairs. And very much to all of you, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, do like and subscribe, do pass on the details to other folk. Feel free to pop in your comments, and to finish off, hail, hail.